Okay, so it's Sunday. Last week we went to the track. Haven't done anything. We took the Pontiac out for a drive this morning, my wife and I. Olds is home. It still has the slicks on it. I am enjoying a plain Red Bull, no booze. This thing's good. This thing means nothing really. See, my tackle box that usually sits on top of that toolbox is still there. I got carburetors galore going on. I haven't touched any of this shit. But you can see the hood is on. And why did I want to make this video? Well, if you guys remember, for those of you who actually watch, if you pay attention, not that you have to, because when it comes to paying attention, I'm pretty bad. But I told you guys I like to measure the width of the hood and give myself just enough room between the fenders to close this. Well, my wife and I put the hood on last night, and I think it was the first time that her and I put a hood on a car and we didn't end up in an argument. That was pretty amazing. I think I finally figured out how to explain it to her where it falls into place. So you could see it closes really nice. My gaps are super nice. I'm really happy about that. The gaps look really good. It matches up good. It's like short on length on one side. Here it's good. And then here it's a little out. So I'm thinking either the fender got a little crinkly there or the hood when I repaired it years ago. But everything fits really good. I'm really happy about it. We took it out this morning. It's still dirty. Once I'm done with this video, I have to mow the lawn, wash the Suburban because my Suburban's fucking filthy. I got to clean the interior and wash the Bonneville. And then wash the Olds. The Olds is also really, really dirty. Yeah, washing cars around here is it happens like twice a year. So, but the other thing that happened is we were driving today and we found out that the fans barely work. After driving it really long, it'll run 190 when you're going down the highway. At a light, it'll creep up to 210, 215 if you're there too long. So these fans are barely cutting it, right? It's a little it was a pretty warm day today, like 85. It was warm in the morning, pretty muggy. So we're going to have to revisit that. But just in case, I carried my spare, I still got to put the back seat in, my fan and 2 studs. And the reason for that is I have bolts holding in the pulley, which I just used 2 since I'm not using the fan. If I do have to put the fan on the road, keep this in mind, guys. If you use bolts and you can use studs, I'll use the studs to keep the pulley on the water pump and then use bolts for the fan and then put the other 2 once those 2 are lined up. But, and I have just enough room to run the fan with the auxiliaries. So, but for the short commutes, my wife works 3 miles from home. So for the short commutes, this thing is fine. But I do want to take some longer trips with this car. So we do plan on driving this car to the strip. Which also brings me to my next point. I found a couple of sounds and noises that I did not like. This is our second real big drive. We took it out this morning. Maybe we put 25, 30 miles on it. Whatever. And I am getting a horrible, horrible clunk when the car rocks. I'll show you guys. I'll try to recreate it. I had to move my Red Bull. I didn't want to spill it. It's like 1 o'clock. I need my... You hear that? So what's going on is I used the hardware that came with the control arms, and the upper control arm, after driving it now, has kind of freed up where it's sat. It's tight, but now it's like rocking back and forth because the inside diameter where the bolts go is a little bit bigger than the bolts they supplied. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it up a little bit more and see if it goes away. If not, then I'm going to have to revisit it and change the bolts and get something in there that will fit nice and snug. The lower control arms do got a little bit of movement, but that one's pretty well matched up. It doesn't clunk. You hear it and you feel it up top when I hold the control arm and I have my wife rock the car. You can feel it go back and forth. This is a really suggestive motion. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, so we got to address that. And I have had a clunk in the front end. I don't know if the control arm is shifting or it's a ball joint. When my dad did all this, everything's been replaced. There's not even 10,000 miles on the front end parts on this car. So it did have a clunk before in the front, which I wasn't really too worried about because it would only do it occasionally on really sharp turns. So it's either ball joint or tie rod end. Easy enough to check. I think I'm going to try to get the car down to the shop, get it up on the lift, take care of those couple little issues, and hopefully we can hit the track sometime in July. And the reason why I say July as well, it's the end of June. I'm going on vacation next week, and God damn it, my wife is calling me right as I'm doing this. So, either way, I just hit the FU button on my wife. Yes, that was totally live. That was awesome. So, either way, think in July, get a couple things going, have my wife drive it a little bit more, and then hopefully hit the track. Car runs really good, and, nothing's bad. But after having the whole car apart, I knew that, we might find a couple things here and there. Nothing's loose. It's just bolts and little odds and ends that I knew would pop up here and there as we drive it. So on that note, guys, I'm going to let you go because I got to call my wife back. She was at the grocery store, so I'm sure she's got a question for me. She can never go grocery shopping without asking me a question, even though she buys the same groceries almost every other week. Funny how that works out. But no. Hopefully I get this thing up on the lift. We'll make a video about that. And really, man, we're at the enjoyment point. And, I can eventually get to these things. Right now, I am busy helping my friend out with his Mustang, and I haven't had much time to get out here. It's hot. Hoping to hit cruise control mode in life sometime in July. So, we're just going to enjoy the cars. And once we get this thing down the track and my wife's comfortable, we can start going out to the track with this again. Hopefully with that 4500 style, we'll see how that works. So, and I also got big news on what we're going to do with this car, but I will talk about that later because there's a lot of things I want to talk about. And, it's a big change of plans from what I had originally thought about as far as power plants go. So I'll sign off. Thanks, guys, for watching, subscribing, and following. If you like anything, share it. We got months of content from this. Maybe somebody else can relate and wants to follow along. Share, like, subscribe. Thank you.